Alright everyone, week 13 is over, and I kind of have a killer sore throat right now, so I apologize if I'm going to rush through it a bit and be in get it over with mode a little bit, but you know how it is with sore throats. Out of the 16 games in week 13, Madden and I agreed on 12 of them, so I'm going to leave those 4 we didn't agree on till the end, as I always do. And here we go. We're going to look at Denver, Kansas City first, and our pick was Kansas City, Madden by a score of 24-20. And the actual final score was much lower. It was 10-6, and Kansas City did win that game, so 1-1. New York Giants and Washington, and we picked the Giants to win. Madden by a score of 29-13. Actual final score was 31-7, and the Giants won, so it is 2-2. Chicago and Detroit, we picked Chicago to win. Madden by a score of 23-17. Actual final score was 24-20 for Chicago, so you can make it 3-3. And Atlanta and Tampa Bay. We picked Atlanta to win, Madden by a score of 13-10. Actual final score 28-24 for Atlanta, and we're at 4s. New Orleans and Cincinnati. We picked the Saints, Madden by a score of 27-20. Actual final score was not too far off, 34-30, and you can make it 5-5. Buffalo and Minnesota. We picked Minnesota to win, and Favre got knocked out of that game early. We don't know if he's going to be ready for next week, but we picked Minnesota to win, Madden by 30-20, by the way. And yeah, it was Tavares Jackson who stepped in and actually played a pretty good game. And Minnesota beat. I'm always calling Minnesota Madden for some reason. And Minnesota beat Buffalo by a score of 38-14. You can make it 6-6 for us. Let's move on to Cleveland and Miami. We picked Miami to win by a score of 16-13. Actual score was 13-10, but Miami didn't win it. It was Cleveland, so no points there. We're still at 6-6. San Francisco and Green Bay. We picked Green Bay to win by a score of 14-13 or 14-3. Actual final score was 34-16, and Green Bay won it, so you can make it 7-7. And we'll make Oakland and San Diego be next, and we picked San Diego by a score of 23-14. Actual score was 28-13, so not too far off, but we picked the wrong winner, unfortunately. So we're still at 7-7. Let's move on to Dallas and Indianapolis. We picked Indianapolis to win by a score of 30-28, and Dallas led for much of that game. Quite a bit, and Indianapolis fought back to tie it at 35 and go into overtime, and the winning field goal in overtime was scored by Dallas. So, 38-35, the final score for Dallas, so no points there as we picked Indianapolis. We're still at 7-7. Carolina and Seattle. We picked Seattle to win by a score of 27-20, and Carolina did lead for much of that game. They scored the first 14 points, but Seattle clawed back and got much more, and won the game 31-14, and so you can make that 8-8. And the final game that we agreed on was last night's Monday night game between the Jets and the Patriots. We picked the Patriots. Madden picked the score of 47-13, and actual final score. You know how I was talking about Madden New England just scoring the Jets to death, and that's exactly what happened. It was 45-3. As I'm sure you know if you watch the game. So after the last game that we agreed on, we were at 9-9. So the first game we didn't agree on was the Thursday nighter, which was between Houston and Philadelphia. My pick was Philadelphia. Madden's pick was Houston by a score of 16-10. Actual final score, Philadelphia won by a score of 34-24. So you can make it 10-9 for me. Jacksonville and Tennessee. My pick was Jacksonville. Madden's pick was Tennessee by a score of 19-13. And I got that one right, too. It was 17-6 for Jacksonville. So you can make it 11-9 for me. Okay, St. Louis and Arizona. My pick was the Cards. My pick was the Rams, excuse me. Madden's pick was the Cards by a score of 13-12. And the Rams did win it. It was 19-6, so you can make it 12-9 for me. And the last game we disagreed on was the Sunday nighter between Pittsburgh and Baltimore. My pick was Pittsburgh. Madden's pick was Baltimore by a score of 28-21. and it was close all game, but eventually scoring the winning touchdown was Pittsburgh, and they won by a score of 13-10. So I swept the 4 games we disagreed on, and you can make the final score after Week 13, Jordan 13, Madden 9. Okay, if you look at the total scores before Week 13, I was at 104, Madden was at 101, so if you add our scores to those, I am now at 117, Madden is now at 110. So, opened up quite a bit of a gap, so hope that stays for the rest of the year, because that would be awesome. Okay, take a look at some of the Week 14 matchups. So we got not a lot of even ones. New England plays Chicago. That should be a good one. And let's see. Oakland plays Jacksonville. Let's see. Kansas City, San Diego. And on Sunday night we have Philadelphia and Dallas. On Monday night we have Baltimore and Houston. So, and we have a Thursday night game as well, which we're going to look at and pick right now, and that is a division game between Indianapolis and Tennessee. So, let's turn to the screen and pick that right now. Indy's been struggling; they've fallen all the way down to 6-6, whereas Tennessee is 5-7. Still inclined to pick Indianapolis in this one, though, simply because Tennessee, you know, they're not the team they used to be since Young went down. And so pretty easy pick for me, even with the Colts struggling. I think this is the game that the Colts bounce back finally. I know I've said that for like 2 weeks now, but this is probably it. So I'm picking the Colts. Madden's picking the Colts, 24-0. So I'll have the rest of the Week 14 picks for you in a couple of days. And until then, I will see you later. Have a good day.